It's July 15th, 2026. Inside the Hart Senate office building, and the room is packed. Todd Blanche, the man who once stood in courtrooms defending Donald Trump as his personal lawyer, is now sitting in the hot seat, nominated to become the Attorney General of the United States. For 5 hours straight, the Senate Judiciary Committee grills him. But it's not the Democrats who land the hardest blow. It's a Republican. It's John Cornyn of Texas. To understand this moment, you have to go back to where it started earlier this year. Donald Trump filed a $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS and the Treasury Department, claiming his tax returns had been illegally leaked by a former government contractor. That lawsuit didn't go to trial. Instead, in May, it was quietly settled. And buried inside that settlement was something extraordinary. A $1.8 billion fund dressed up with the name Anti-Weaponization Fund. Critics called it something else, a slush fund. And tucked inside the same deal was a provision that would shield Trump, his family, and his businesses from IRS audits altogether. Word got out, senators on both sides started asking questions. And under pressure, the administration insisted the fund was dead, finished, never happening. Todd Blanche himself said it out loud, on the record. But here's where the story turns. John Cornyn isn't just any senator. He's a former Texas Supreme Court justice. Before that, he was Texas Attorney General. Before that, a judge. This is a man who reads contracts for a living, who spent decades in courtrooms long before he ever set foot in the Senate. And when he looked at the settlement agreement, he noticed something buried on page 4. The deal could only be modified through a written agreement signed by both parties. Not a statement, not a press conference, a signature. So Cornyn asked Blanche the simple question everyone else missed. If the fund is really dead, where's the paperwork? Why hasn't anyone signed anything to kill it? And in that hearing room under oath, Blanche had to admit it. The fund was never actually terminated in writing. It could still be enforced. A law professor watching the case pointed out that Blanche had even quietly added addendum the very next day after his own order supposedly ending the fund. One that left the door open the whole time. For Cornyn, this wasn't just a legal technicality. It was personal history colliding with policy. Trump had thrown his support behind Ken Paxton in the Texas Senate primary, effectively ending Cornyn's chances at re-election. And yet here was Cornyn, still sitting on the Judiciary Committee, still holding one of the votes that could decide whether Trump's own former lawyer becomes the nation's top law enforcement officer. Hell had no fury. Some said, like a senator who was pushed aside. But instead of anger, what Cornyn brought to that hearing room was precision. Patience, decades of legal training pointed directly at the people who once didn't need him anymore. Alongside him sat Tom Tillis of North Carolina, another Republican not seeking re-election, telling reporters afterward that he needed absolute certainty. His words, that this fund could never come back to life. Both men walked out of that hearing still undecided. And because Blanche needs every single Republican vote on that committee to move his nomination forward, 2 senators once considered safe yes votes suddenly held the entire nomination in their hands. This is bigger than one hearing. It's a story about what happens when the fine print catches up to the promises made out loud. It's about a settlement that was supposed to quietly disappear, and a senator who simply asked to see it in writing. In a moment built on power, loyalty, and political payback, it was not outrage that exposed the truth. It was patience, legal precision, and one senator's Texas-sized eye for detail. The vote is still pending. The fund is still technically alive. And Todd Blanche's path to Attorney General now runs through the very Senator Donald Trump. Once tried to push out the door,